And I'm gonna say it right here, I'm gonna say it to this camera right here. If you like vinyl and you've never tried tape and you say vinyl's better, you're f***ing wrong. You're just wrong. You're just wrong.
Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Peers. I'm your host, Sandy. Today's guest is a singer, songwriter, artist. He's also the frontman of the hit band Los Esplifs. You get your latest album, Chemistry, anywhere you stream music currently. Please welcome to the show, Saul.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
I'm so glad you are on the show. Is this fucking orange juice? Yeah, what that is not beer. That is not.
This looks like mucho mango.
Dude, it's just like
the Arizona iced tea, you know?
It does. It looks like Tang. Is it Tang? All right, let's get into it.
Ooh. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. I fuck with this.
I don't know what this is. It's delicious. This is God's nectar. This is what that is.
I doubt this is gonna fuck me up. You know what I mean?
I don't say that. People say that about jungle juice, and next thing you know, bam, they're blackout on the floor, pissing themselves. I won't say that, man. So, as I said, you just came out with Chemistry.
Yup.
How was it releasing it and everything?
Releasing it was kind of taking off the Band-Aid. We've been having it for a long time. Like, we had it for maybe like a year before we released it. So it's been in my hard drive for like a whole year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
recorded in Oracle, right?
Yeah, so we recorded in the middle of nowhere at this little ranch called Rancho in La Vista. Shouts out. They kind of created a grant program to like start an artist residency. They usually have it for like painters and stuff like that, but they opened it up for recording.
How was it like recording over there?
It was sick, yo. Like, I've been there before, so it's like a magical place to like go and record and stuff. I really like visual art and stuff.
Yeah.
And Andy Whorhal did his first or second film there. It's called Lonesome Cowboys.
Huh, I didn't.
So like in the same place that we were hanging out, like Whorhal was hanging out. A lot of countless really amazing painters were hanging out in the same rooms that we were making the records.
So did it give it that like that vibe where it's like there's a lot of creative like people have been here and like it might made you like amplified it, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of like passing the torch type situation. I don't know, I kind of believe in like everything's meant to happen the way it's meant to happen. So like the fact that like I'm aware of Andy Whorhal's work before like stepping into this ranch, and I'm like very keen of his work, and then seeing it actually like me be a part of like almost the lineage of the same passage, to me kind of like completes like the circle of creation, which is like kind of a good sign that I'm doing something, you know?
That is really cool.
It's like the only sign that you can really take. It's like divine intervention type.
And how long were you recording there for?
It was like a month.
Oh, wow.
So Caleb and I like spent a whole month living there, and like the people at Rancho in La Vista, like shouts out again, like they opened up the residence for us. Like we were posted in a house, like
oh shit,
for a whole month. And some of the band members stayed there for a couple weeks, like Chris. All the other cats came like in and out for that whole month, but Caleb and I lived there for a whole month. And I made it a point, because I'm fucking insane, like to not leave.
You didn't leave once?
I left once because Caleb wants to go get fucking coffee once. So we had to fucking, he's just broke, and we just fucking.
You're just like, let's go.
Yeah, we drove 50 minutes to Tucson. 50 minutes to Tucson, and we drove just to get coffee because he was getting all fucking in his head, you know what I mean? We need to see people, you know what I mean? Like, goddamn. But
when did you guys form?
Caleb and I, like, we know each other since probably we were like 21, 22.
Yeah.
I saw Caleb, he was playing in the salsa band. And I was playing salsa with I was playing Cumbia in another ensemble. Like the salsa and the Cumbia world is like really like, it's like an older crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
So like, and I started playing there since I was 18. So like I was like the only young kid in those orchestras all the time. But we happened to play this show together, and then I saw another young kid, and that was Caleb at the time. I was like, who the fuck? And he was fire. Like he was actually like really fucking good. So I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Fast forward like 3-4 years later, I moved to Phoenix and stuff, and we start working together, playing free jazz at Scottsdale Community College.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We started playing free jazz together, and we were just kicking it and stuff and playing still in salsa bands and cumbia bands. And one time we like went to Flagstaff to play a a festival, Hullabaloo Fest, and we were playing with like an older crowd, like, you know what I mean, band that was very popular.
Yeah. So you guys, and this was before you guys formed.
Yeah, this is way before. And like me and him drove out there together, and it was like me and him in a car, and on our way back, you know what I mean? We had a great show. It was like headlining show, 200, 300 people. You know what I mean? It was tight. It was tight. It was in the park. It was awesome. And as we're driving down, I remember being like, man, that show was crazy, bro. That show was so sick. Like, and then I look at Caleb and I'm like, what if all those people were like young, attractive, hit people?
I like how, you know what I mean? Like everything is like young, attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? How can we do that? And we were just like obsessed over that. And we were like, yeah, like actually that could be a thing. You know what I mean? Like it would be awesome to attempt to play this music in circles that like, you know what I mean? We run in.
Yeah, you're click based
fashion. Yeah, super fashionable young brown kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, sick. Like, let's just start playing that. We came back to Phoenix and like we already like knew all the booking agents and shit. So we started talking mad shit, like just like mad shit to all the owners and shit of all the venues. Like they would see us and shit. Hey, how are you? Yo, me and Caleb, we got the dopest fucking band, man. Like just like that. And we hadn't even rehearsed. We had no name. We had nothing, yo. But we kept like just saying that to people, like, yo, we got the fucking hippest shit. We got the hippest band and shit. Until somebody was like, oh yeah, like there's this festival at the trunk space called Indy 500. 100 bands playing five songs.
I remember that.
Do you want to play this? And we're like, yeah, fuck yeah, we want to play this shit. We've got the hottest band. We're still like just lying, you know what I mean? And yeah, we got booked for that. And
had you already come up with your name by then?
No, that's when we came up with the name right before that, just for the festival and stuff like that.
So why'd you pick Los Esplifs?
Just Caleb and I at the time, like, he would be chiefing on cigarettes like crazy. Now he juuls and shit. Now he's like, you know what I mean? He's graduated. And he's graduated. But he was puffing on cigarettes like crazy back in the day. And I used to not smoke cigarettes. Now I do. And I used to only smoke weed. So like in our breaks, like during work or during our gigs, it would just be like him smoking a cig and I'll be smoking some weed. So then we were like, oh, together it's like fucking the spliffs. And honestly, like the music itself, we wanted it to feel like that. Like when you smoke a spliff, it's a very specific, like kind of, it's a feeling. Yeah, that
very specific high.
It's very specific. It's like almost like kind of on the edge, but like super relaxed. And that's how we try to make it be in the shows, you know what I mean?
Did you always know you wanted to do cumbia as like your style of music?
Well, kind of. It was always like, cumbia was a term that like, I feel like, and now in 50 years, we'll look at this and like be able to actually say if it was factual or not. But I think that cumbia, based on the fact that it's like such a universal rhythm, it was the jumpstart to like the new movement of Latino people in the United States. So, and there's a lot of rhythms to explore. And I think that cumbia is like the start of a new generation of artists.
Yeah.
That's are exploring different rhythms. And our background, like we love other music that's not just cumbia, and we gravitate towards salsa because it's a lot of different rhythms put together into one genre. That's what salsa is as a genre. So I think that we kind of wanted to do something like that without naming it salsa because of all the implications that salsa has, but
yeah,
it is kind of a mix of all these rhythms put together, you know.
And then your solo stuff is also a lot different.
Yeah, it's been really beautiful to explore it. I kind of started to kind of conceptualize it just as I started to like become older. It's kind of more of a way of expressing myself as I'm getting older.
Yeah.
Of my own kind of fears of that. One of like my biggest fears is like to have my work be like lost. Just lost. I personally think that like the best organizations or like literally made to conserve stuff is museums. So I wanted to start moving towards fine art, to start making work that can be kept for hundreds and hundreds of years by organizations like museums. Because I just want to share my work to somebody in 500 years.
Yeah, so it made you kind of go that route.
Yeah, exactly. So I went to explore those textures and explore that world in my attempt to kind of preserve my intellectual property, per se, because although it's a very primitive time for media in general, so I don't know what the future of something like this digital file that
is it gonna land
right now.
They're gonna land
like where is it exactly? Like where is it really gonna go?
In the next 100 years, are we still gonna be able to access what we have now? Are we gonna have this like huge catalog to go into? Because obviously nowadays we use like Spotify, Apple Music to kind of like jump into different sounds. We're able to explore whatever we want to go to. You can find your local artists, you can find major artists, you can find artists similar to it. But like in 100 years, are we going to do that?
I mean, that's what my hopes of doing fine art is, like that there's already a trace of hundreds of years of museums as an establishment to upkeep and uphold and show human beauty.
You want to fetch out real quick and we can see what this is? I'm curious on what this orange juice is.
What is this?
I don't know.
The last one was a little chunky on the end.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. All right, what's the beer? It is... It is Toast to the Nose. It is an ale with mango, coconut, and marshmallow. 5.5%.
I did taste some marshmallow in there, and I was like, what the fuck?
I don't taste the coconut.
Really?
I love the fucking can, by the way. That is such a nice art piece on the can. I don't know why I like it.
I like this. You know what I mean?
Really?
This is for me. This is like warning, don't drink. You know what I mean? This is for me.
I like to know that one of
this one's for me. This one's industrially telling me that it'll lock me up.
What do you rate it out of 10?
Out of 10, so I don't drink, so people will know about this. So out of 10, that's also my gauge. Very hard 8.
A very hard 8?
Yeah.
Honestly, 8. I'm gonna agree with you. 8. I couldn't drink 4 of these in a row because it would be too much. But definitely 1 or 2 of these is amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Beer número 2.
Yep.
The last time I had a beer this color, it was disgusting. So I
bet it's okay. Let's just guess.
Let's find out.
It's jungle. I fuck with this. It's pretty good.
So, your tape.
Yo.
So you released your album on tape. Tell me about that. So obviously tapes are definitely not outdated, but less used, and
definitely outdated. Yeah.
What made you choose to release it on tape?
I mean, similar to what we were talking about, with keeping something alive type situation. Obviously Spotify now, who knows what these digital kind of files are gonna end up with. So these physical objects are important because they can hold the information for a longer period of time. Obviously this is plastic, so it'll last a couple thousand years, unfortunately. But this is a way of preserving that information.
Why not vinyl instead of tape? Would be the next.
So vinyl, it is an environment question because vinyl, there's a lot of gum trees that need to be destroyed in order for vinyl to be created. I personally believe I would love for there to be a process of keeping the document for vinyl, but I don't believe in overproduction. So based on my costs right now, I can't produce the amount that I want at cost.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, I would just produce 50 of these because I know that 50 people would want them. But right now, the way the industry works, it's you have to order more than 200, 150.
Yeah. No.
And to me, that's just too much. That's just too much production for me.
How many tapes did you end up making?
I produced 21 tapes.
21?
20 for all the people that bought it, and 1 tape for degentrification. It was a DJ here in town. And there's a little instructional manual inside, this little paper right here.
Man, so that really is inclusive. What about CDs? How many CDs did you do?
I did 10 of that.
10 CDs?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's
That's super
That
low.
yeah, I thought you're like, oh, I did 50.
No, I said 10. Yeah.
And that only has the bonus track of it.
Yep. No.
I don't even have a CD player or a tape deck.
Yeah.
At all.
And that's why you have to be cool if you want it. You have to go and be about it. You know what I mean? You have to be like, yo, I fuck with this band so much that I'm gonna try a new fucking medium. You know what I mean? Like
Tape deck.
exactly. I'm gonna go to Goodwill and actually be performative in my action.
The last time I ever used a tape deck was in one of my older cars where it didn't have like a CD player, and I used one of those like tape aux cords.
I love those.
And then because I had a CD player, but there's a CD stuck in it that I could never get out.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, and that's all I used. But like that's the only time I ever used a tape deck like religiously.
Yeah, the first time I got a tape player was like, I was living here in Phoenix. It was like 2018. So like Chris has this awesome spot on 12th Street, and I shouldn't say where he lives, but
You didn't dox anyone. Let's get that out there. He almost did it.
yeah, I almost did it. Yeah. So yeah, he has a residence in North Phoenix that like he helps other musicians out by giving them really, really good rates for housing. There he has like a bunch of records for music, vinyl, cassette, scores, a bunch of different stuff. Before I was living in that room, there was a musician named Joel Robinson. I used to live in that same room. He had a band called Sun Trio. And when I heard them at the Trunk Space, I thought it was like the coolest fucking thing, like psychedelic music, kind of like super atonal, really out there, like just high concept art stuff. Yeah, I mean, they would play like instruments that they didn't know, and I really respected that kind of like way of thinking. And after he moved out and I was living there, his tapes were left there, like tapes for rehearsals and tapes for just random shit he would make. They were just there at Chris's house. So I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? And I grabbed the tape. I don't remember, like Chris had a Walkman, like a clear Sony Walkman. I took it in my room and I put it in there, and I don't know, I pressed on it, and like the sound that was coming out of the tape to me kind of felt like a ritual, like I was getting information and then putting it through a thing, and then that information was being directed towards me. And obviously like the technology behind tapes is like really advanced. Like it's magnetic, it's literal magnets that are hitting this, that are reading the information that is coming from this. So like to me, I'm like such a fucking nerd that like that idea, once I discovered it, was revolutionary. And thinking about sculpture, I thought that this was the most iconic thing to put your music in, because it's a sculptural like representation of your music, and it can really be sculptural. Like, maybe you won't play this, like if you own this, maybe you just don't play it, right? But it's its own little sculpture, and I designed it in a specific way for it to be a sculpture. Yeah, like you can just put it right here and it looks like a piece. So that's why I really gravitated towards tapes. And I'm gonna say it right here, I'm gonna say it to this camera right here. If you like vinyl and you've never tried tape and you say vinyl's better, you're fucking wrong. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. And I'll tell you why. Like the depending on your machine, like it's a very human thing to do. Like you are in charge of doing that.
Yeah, no.
Therefore, you can conceptually add whatever sound or what sounds good to you onto the tape, because you're controlling the input onto dubbing the tape. So you'll really get like what you think it sounds best at. So that's why when vinyl heads tell me like, no man, vinyl sounds better. Yeah, it sounds better to the person that created it, but tapes give you the liberty to have your own opinion on how they're supposed to be like sounding.
Yeah, so you're definitely more into tapes than you are into vinyl.
Yeah, everything I do is tape. Like I DJ and I only do it on tape.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like when you do sonas, you do it to tape.
All two tapes.
That's crazy, because most DJs obviously do either vinyl or digital.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Tapes is a different medium. I feel like not a lot of people will approach, and I just think that this is the most democratic convention, especially in the music world, it's actually cool that we have this because inside of here, this little packet, I'll open it up for I'm gonna break the seal of warranty here.
I brought that guy seal.
So I designed this little.
Oh, you have a little pamphlet.
This little pamphlet. It's pretty much explaining to you the person that bought this. I'm trying to make everyone really fucking cool, and this little paper describes to you what the steps are to make your own tape. So this tape, for example, the side A of this is the album, that the way that you'll hear it on Spotify, or the conceptual way that I think sounds best. The other side is blank, and I'm showing you exactly how to dub onto a tape.
That's super.
So I'm trying to make this process democratic and showing everyone that this is you. You can have control over this. So there's no medium that's like that.
It's your music, but it's also like conceptually a piece too.
Yeah, it's a conduit for you to understand older technology and have an appreciation for this.
I really like
not just like the content that's inside, but just the concept of it. And the brochures there is made to ensure like how to dub that. So you can have your own experience and you can have your own performance or ritual, that's not just.
I like that.
Like
so
music.
Besides setting up tapes, like honestly, as like, besides a medium to like show your music off, you put out, you do art itself. Like you did an installation a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced Stereolith, right?
Yeah, it's called Stereolith. It's a solar working speaker.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be all renewable energy, and pretty much made it to kind of describe the same kind of concepts that we're describing here, but kind of in a different way. I was really obsessed with like monolithic sculptures, such as like Stonehenge and all these implications that monolithic sculptures in the past have in common, which is like sun placement and the showcasing of technology, the showcasing of engineering and storytelling, and this piece is all those things. It's like I'm showcasing the technology of now, which is being able to put magnets together in order to project sound, which is what speakers are, and using sun placement for the solar panels. Like it only works if the sun is hitting it and feeding the
at a direct that's a really good way to go about it.
It's kind of the same kind of vibe, but
the concept,
sure. And
that's
how indigenous people.
What made you decide to like go that route to create that?
Well, it's just like most of my art comes in between intersections between the past and the future, or intersections between cultures. I'm from Nogales, so my whole life is an intersection. Like my whole life is being in between two different worlds.
Our beers are finished.
Beers are done.
Let's see what it is.
That was wet.
Flaming Moe's. Let's go.
Yo, Moe's is a good one.
This is 7%. Jesus fucking Christ. What do you think of this?
I really liked it. At first, I didn't really fuck with it. But as we're talking, I feel like it's because our conversation is a little more serious. It kind of fucking went.
Honestly, it's, you know what I mean?
I felt like very like, I want to cross the line and it's like, yo, we're doing this. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's kind of like classier beer. It's a classier beer.
It's not a beer you chug. Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's definitely a beer you sip on. I'm going to give it a 7. Like 7.5. It's pretty good.
I would honestly go 7.5 too.
It's not a bad beer. I think it is definitely a very like sip beer. You drink it casually, don't chug it.
But if you're into natural wine, like this shit is pretty close to it. Like it's a very like orange winey type
DC.
Yeah. So if you like natural wine, that's just your shit right there.
We are in our game.
This is the game time.
This is the game time.
I also noticed that there's like no little line where it says smoke a shit ton of weed.
No, there isn't.
So I'm a fucking be
We're a very alcoholic show.
Okay, cool.
We're all alcoholics here.
Perfect.
This is the wheel of fun. Do you want to spin it or do you want me to spin it?
I'm gonna spin it, but I want to just like talk about these names for a second. What is this? What is this sandy chug?
It means I chug.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a specific way of chugging it.
No, I don't. We gonna throw sand in the fucking beer?
Yeah, I thought you just chugged it like, or something. I don't know. Can I do it?
Go ahead. Yeah, it's all you. No, wait a second. You gotta
throw some fucking wrist.
You gotta
in that.
really do it?
It does some like a wheel of fortune.
I don't know what your budget is, so I don't know what your budget for this
It's enough
wheel.
for this.
Okay.
There we go. Or enough for that wheel. If it lands on me, I'm gonna snap. Respin.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
That's a good little. That's a $20 budget spin right there. Okay, good. Let's see.
The longest spins in the fucking world. Bro, whoever wrote these respins is gonna get fired. Don't get that out there. They're getting fired.
All right, here we go. This one's it. This one's it right here. This one's it. Around the world, around. Hey, yo, is this cleared legal for me to say that? Oh shit!
It's literally the one thing I didn't want it to land on. I said multiple times. Let's do it. Let's run it.
Das booty, it is yours. Oh, he's doing it kneeling too. This is kind of weird.
It feels weird.
Yeah. Like,
all right, well, thank you for being on the show.
of course. Thanks for having me.
Here we go. Fuck it.
Oh. Now this is impressive. Why does he gotta do it like that? Yo, whoa. Woo! Beer.
Beers are peers. Thank you for being on the show. Saul, any shout outs you want to make towards the camera?
Shouts out to everybody that's making great music inside of Phoenix and outside of it too, but mostly in Phoenix. And shouts out, get chemistry
He's handing my hand.
out everywhere. We're gonna have some great fucking records for you guys. I know I talk so much shit about records, but we're gonna have some for y'all, so stay on the lookout for that. And thanks for having me, yo.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show, honestly.
How you feel?
I am drunk.
Me too.
Very drunk.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next time. Thank you, Saul, for being on the show, and we will see you guys again.
Peace.